Hi everyone, my name is Milana and I was the project lead of the IEO Symposium. It's a project created by the IEO community to practice public speaking and presentation skills. And today I'll be hosting this meeting. Well, it's fantastic to see many of you here all calling in from different time zones, someone from Hong Kong, Serbia, and other countries. I want to thank you all for coming, and I'm very excited for the interesting presentations and discussions we're about to have. Today's meeting will mostly focus on the IUX projects. Basically, in addition to the annual IEO, we have several community-driven initiatives that we would like to introduce to you. Our meeting will be divided into two parts. So first, my colleague Christos Benos from Greece, the IEO's executive board member and leader of the academics department, will introduce you to the annual Winter Challenge competition, where he currently serves as the general manager. Yeah, you can probably wave. Okay.
I can, of course. Hello, everyone. I'm glad that I see you here. And I mean, here in Hong Kong, many of you are really close to us. It's really nice that we finally have a meeting, a gathering all together. At least half of the teams that are participating in the IEO are finally in the same place, not online. Those meetings, like the symposium we have, or the Toastmasters that we used to have, are always great because we are having online meetings with people from all around the world. But this thing that we do right now, it's even better because we have the chance to meet with each other, to communicate, to share some time, some personal time with them, which is something amazing. I'm going to talk to you about the Winter Challenge, and I will try to share my screen so I can showcase you some things that we do in the Winter Challenge. And it is, in my opinion, the closest thing that someone could do at a time that is not the time of the IEO, and it's the closest thing that someone could do to the IEO itself. This is online, of course, so we don't have the benefits that I just stated, but still, it's a good chance for all of us to meet with each other and to exchange experiences. I have seen today a lot of friends that I haven't seen for months, and I'm really glad that I have met them through this nice trip in the IEO and the IEOX. So I'm Christos Bernos. I am the academics department leader of the IEO, but today I'm here to present the IEOX Winter Challenge, which I used to lead during February and sometimes during January too. I will not lie. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I would like to introduce and talk a bit about the structure of the meeting, and then we probably can proceed with your presentation on Winter Challenge.
Okay.
So after the presentation of Christos, we will talk with Joseph Tsai from Taiwan. He is the IEO Executive Board member, as well as Department of Operations and Finance member, and he's also an IEO ambassador. As the project lead, he will tell you about the SC Challenge, which is another exciting project launched by the IOX. Following that, we'll hear from our alumni who are also present today and whom I will introduce later. They'll share their experiences taking part in these initiatives, along with their own creative projects and the stories behind their conception and implementation. And as participants and audience of today's meeting, all of you will have the opportunity to evaluate their presentations. We have also invited Pat Egan, the charismatic team lead of Ireland and an active participant of Toastmasters, which is now Symposium. He will evaluate and provide constructive feedback on all of the presentations and basically will engage with us throughout the discussion. We're very delighted you could join us today, Pat. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. Another person who has made an invaluable contribution to the IOX project is Eleni Kisiri from Greece. She's in fact, hi Eleni. She's in fact an IEO 2020 alumna, and she's responsible for the Winter Challenge communications and event organization. So today she will also share her unique journey from being a participant to becoming an organizer of the competition. Yeah, we're very glad you could join us today here, Eleni. Last but not least, part 2 of the meeting will be basically a discussion centered around academic events and fostering international academic networks that we hope you will find insightful. And now that I have told you about the structure of our meeting and introduced you to our project leaders and some of our main speakers today, I will gladly give the floor to Christos to tell us more about the Winter Challenge.
Okay, thank you, Milana. It's clear enough that those meetings are to let us get close, so they are more informal, and that's why I was excited and starting talking about my presentation. What I'm going to say is that the Winter Challenge is close enough to the IEO. It's a way to have people who cannot join the IEO, or at least the open track, which is running the same days as the IEO, they have the chance to participate somehow, to live this experience as much as they could. And actually, I used my original presentation, which was to introduce the IEO academics part, to start creating the presentation of today. So you can see that there are no many differences between those two parts of the IEO community. Actually, we have the economics part, which is common in the IEO. It's the main part, the most important part, but we skip the difficult open questions. We have, of course, difficult multiple choice questions, which you may try to solve in 80 minutes. After that, you have to deal with tasks on financial literacy. We used to have a game, the FLG, which was a simulation game about financial literacy. But as IEO follows a different plan from now on, we changed this format for the Winter Challenge too. And of course, we have the business case. In this case, in this scenario, the Winter Challenge, the business case is prepared by teams that sometimes get to know each other at that exact week that they start to work together. And it's amazing sharing stories with them about how they learned from each other, about how they prepared their tasks, and how they learned to deal with difficulties altogether, just from scratch. They afterwards do a peer grading process, which for many of the students we have is the first time to deal with grading. Usually we have students and contestants to just submit their exams, submit their answers, and expect for feedback. But in this Winter Challenge that we create, we ask them to do the opposite thing too, to give feedback, to grade other business cases. And that's something unique, I think, for our competition. And then, of course, we have the presentations, which is especially the finals, a great party for everyone. It's the last part of the competition and the most exciting, in my opinion. So the Winter Challenge is a competition that usually takes place in February, and it's a great preparation for the IEO. At the same time, though, it allows someone to become a part and alumni of the IEO community, which is a great community of many people who have been participating in the IEO or the IEOX projects. For the last 2 years, we had almost 2,000 participants per year, a little less. And we hope that we will grow even more if we become the competition that our contestants would like to have. I think we have the chance to do that. We made it to invite people from more than 65 countries, and that's something amazing to consider for a competition that is not centrally organized, didn't have any more connections than the great community of the IEO, which showcases how strong we, the IEO, have become the last years. In the end, we of course share certificates with our contestants who have done well, and also some collectibles. Some of you may have received some of those if you have won the economics part or the financial literacy part, or even have been in the finals of the business case. Of course, I lead this project and I am always biased being in favor of it. I like it a lot. I like the team that have built it among with me. So it is something that I couldn't state if others didn't do that in advance. Those in your screen are some of the feedback answers that we have received, and they are really the most beautiful thing that every time we have the Winter Challenge, we see. We are enthusiastic of seeing that we have made something, we have achieved something, and I'm proud that I have been receiving some feedback like that for the team and for the IEO itself. So if you want to have some beautiful moments to remember, if you want to meet some new friends, like the ones that I have met today after a long time, even if it's late night in Hong Kong, and even if we have a lot to do for the main track of the IEO, I still enjoy being part of this community. If you want to become a part of this community too, please join us. Join the Winter Challenge, or maybe the Essay Challenge that Joseph is going to present right after me. Thank you very much for having me here to invite you to this unique experience.
Thank you very much, Christos, for your wonderful presentation and for telling us more about the project. I think Pat now could give us a little feedback.
Congratulations, Christos. That was fantastic. I thought what really shone out for me was the real warm welcome that you had. It was very, very heartfelt. Your journey in terms of your language is you've come so far. It's amazing. You're so much more comfortable. I can remember, and if Germano and Alex are here, they will remember this as well. Obviously, I met you while I was there in 2019, but I also met you a lot online during the summer of 2020. And I can remember you struggled a little bit with the language. And I can remember at one point there was a problem that we were trying to do and you didn't agree with us. And all you were able to say is, you will see, it is not right. You will see, it is not right. And I heard that a few times over the summer. But your mathematical intellect was so strong, but your English wasn't able to keep up. But now it clearly has. And I thought there were some lovely illustrations of language there, beautiful moments to remember, late nights in Hong Kong. And you almost had one almost crutch word that came out a lot, and it was "I enjoy," and that was really, that was lovely. That spoke volumes for your commitment and stuff like that. I would say if you're wanting to work on, try to work a little bit more on your vocal variety, but otherwise, it's amazing. You have come so far. Well done.
Really nice emojis here from Christos. Thank you very much for your evaluation, Pat. And I think we can now go to the next presentation. Joseph, you are welcome to show us our slides and tell us more about the essay challenge.
Yeah, for sure. Wait for me. Can you now see it?
Not yet, but it's loading. Yes, perfect.
Okay, wait a minute. All right, hi everyone. So I'm Joseph, the project lead of IOX Essay Challenge. As you see, this is a new project in the IOX community. But you might be wondering, why do we need like a writing contest for economics lovers like you? Do you have any answers to this? But of course, like we don't have this much time. So yeah, I can answer this question myself. Well, like economics is just not about money, calculation, or the market, just like what you have witnessed or experienced in the competition or the main track or the winter challenge. It's also about our society or even like the international community, right? So the IO main track, as you know, is the main competition and is also very competitive. And we know some of us do think maybe like high school level economics can go beyond like this, like taking exams or working on business cases. So that's why we have this, we get you this, the essay challenge, where you can write something to talk about your passion for economics for this world. So, oh, okay. So as all you know, economics connects with other disciplines in social sciences or even geography, just like, this world. And this is also interconnected with our daily life for sure. Just like, today we have war in our world, we have a lot of things happening in our world, and all of these have something to do with our economy, right? And economics is also carried out in different cultural and political contexts. So theory is theory, but in practice, it might be different. And it's so beautiful in your context as well. So we want you to share everything you have thought about, you have experienced, or what you have found. But we don't think this is just like limited to professionals. We, the youth, also have the power. So that's why the mission is here. We just want to popularize economics in a way that's closer to the public, closer to you, closer to everybody. And as I believe this is also our first ever try for high schoolers in this world, because I also did some study like, on the internet, I didn't see anything like this on the internet. So I think we are the first one, and you are also the first ones. So in this world, we are the first one. We are going to have a chance to bridge theory and practice in economics and in economics with our pen or with our keyboards, maybe. So if you're so interested, like right now, you may be also interested in who can really join the qualification. It's very simple. If you're a high school student and you're aged below 20, then you're always welcome to join. And what falls under is like this. What falls under the spotlight is like is that like these days more and more people are interested in whether they can use AI in writing. Of course, in the sense of integrity, you cannot let AI draft everything for your submission. That's for sure. But we know AI is a tool, but not your substitute, right? You can treat it as a helper to check grammar or spelling, but that's not your content creator. So this is why I also have to, put like an emphasis here saying that if there is AI generated content and this word will be disqualified. But don't worry, I think you are also very competent in writing. So AI is just like a small helper of you. It's not like, you will use it for content generating functions. And if you think you're in, you may not also interested in like, the topic. And last year, 2023 was the first year of this event. So last year we focused on the SDGs. And as you know, like, your creativity is not limited. So we just set like this as one of the frameworks. You can also think beyond this. And also, we know the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are just, everything in our life. So you can connect everything to like any of them and shed your light on, what you have thought about, like, what happened to you or what's happening in your society. And that's very, very good. We also believe like these global goals can provide a valuable framework like for addressing pressing issues, where it's also, it's also good for you to formulate like good suggestions for our society, for our community. And also, for more detailed rules, these are very specific, but you can also take a look at them because the essay challenge can be individual based or group based, and each group can be no more than 3 people. So whether you're like working, you like working alone, or with your peers, with your friends on your fascinating research topics, the essay challenge is always here for you. But it's not like you can, gather, you can work with like 10 people. It's not going to be a good thing for writing an essay. So we always think, you can work alone, where you can work with like some of your friends to ensure you have the best quality in your writing. And the journal like accepts English submissions. That's like, how everything can work in this world, because a common language would be very necessary for everyone to understand what you are going to talk about. And about the work now, this is also one of the FAQs. Usually in the abstract, there should be like 250 to 400 words, and in the body text, there should be 1,500 to 2,100 to 2,000 words in the body text. And here we also can see like the timeline. For example, this is also what we discussed, but this is still like tentative. So you can also stay tuned, like you can stay tuned to us. By the end of October, there will be we will let everything be available online, in August, and you will see like a lot of information about this. And usually, like by the end of October 2024 this year, we will close our submission system, and by then you have to submit your works. And also in November and December, during the winter time, we will do our reviews, and then we will select our best 5 groups of people, and they will have their global seminar held like in February 2025, where they share their insights, their findings, and their fascinating research results to all the world. And the criteria are like this, and usually they are just like very understandable rubrics. So let me just like skip this. And our roadmap is like, okay, in short term, in the short run, we are going to we already have this paper submission like done, and also we are going to have this student online talks or exchanges, just like what we are going to have like today. Here we're just like what we did in March 2020, this year 2024. There was like a seminar where students come together and share their insights, and also they communicated very well, or they also did quite a lot of exchanges of their ideas and suggestions for this work. This is very cool. In the long run, in the future, we're also, if that's possible, we are also like introducing in-person forums or meetings where we can really have like in-person exchanges of ideas or thought, just like what our IEO now is, like in Hong Kong now, because in-person context or in-person exchanges are really what we need for this world, for everybody. So yeah, this is like what we have in March 2024. Like this year, some students talked about like solar panel, solar energy, and also there were students talking about, for example, digital divide in education. And then and later, like in this in our meeting today, you will also see like them sharing the same thing with more like insights or their new findings, and that'll be very great because we can also see how much they have done, and also like what motivated them to create their excellent jobs in their research. Okay, so that's it. So if you're so interested in this, do not hesitate to write to us, and also you can contact me with like the number below. And my name is Joseph, and that's it for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Joseph. Thank you for talking through about all the logistics and the ethical use of AI, which is quite relevant right now. I think I'll now give the floor to Pat to give us some feedback.
Hi, Joseph. Thank you very much for that. What I thought really stood out is there was a continuity of the visual presentation between yourself And Christos, you were using similar graphics, similar the IEO graphics, IEO colors, and that was very, very good. Your presentation was actually really, really clear. It was uncluttered, and a bit like Christos as well, your love for learning stepped out, really stood out for me. And what I loved in particular was your vision for the future, that you're in this for the long run, and you're inspiring people to join you in that. I thought your English grammatically, of course, was perfect. I didn't hear any crutches from you whatsoever. I would say a bit like Christos as well, try to work a little bit on your vocal variety, just to exaggerate, to accentuate certain aspects. But as always, excellent speech. Well done, Joseph. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now that Joseph and Christos, the leads of the Essay Challenge and Winter Challenge respectively, done a fantastic job introducing you to the project, I think it would be valuable to hear from our alumni. They can share their first-hand experiences participating there and discuss how these experiences shaped them and how they inspired them to create their own projects. I would now like to invite William Philip from Indonesia to talk about his project. It's IEO Academy, a learning app using NFT components. They won the second place in the Winter Challenge competition in 2023 with the team Monter Silic. William, I'm gladly giving you the floor to talk about your project.
Okay, wait a second. Let me give a little bit. Wait. Okay.
Okay, we now can see your screen and the presentation.
Thank you. As many as you know that I have an incredible opportunity to participate in both our 2023 IEO in Greece and Winter Challenge. Those are experience shaped me in ways I could never have imagined. Now I'm thrilled to be here and standing before you all, guys, as we are embarked on this new chapter together. And I will give you all a little bit my perspective in the IEO VIC. Okay, some kind of thing that I should give something like opening. So introduce me, I'm William Philip. Now I'm university student of Universitas of Indonesia, and I'm taking economics. Also, I think that some reason why should we join the IEO is just like a development of skills that encourage the development of a deep understanding of science and other things to do. And I think the practice well as well, because you can make the good branding of yourself and make it clearly amongst your peers and educational insight or something like that. And also you can network with each other, like just like say, it's like Joseph and Christoph says that we can found new friend from another country, and we can make it like opening network opportunities by connecting LinkedIn or Instagram. So at the end we can find another thing. And also there is a more like we can develop the problem solving thinking, and we can develop another non-skill things like a discipline, time management, which are valuable in academics and career. Also here, I want to give you the sharing session. So this is my title of the project should be is an IEO Academy, that learning app using NFT components. Why NFT components? Because you know that in 2022 until 2023, NFT like non-transferable is a some like very very popular things in Indonesia or in the world, I think, because you know the name of the Ghazali, like put it his photo on NFT and get like a $1 million for trading in there, so some kind of like that. So I think we should like buy or something like that with the project of the IEO Academy. And I will give you a little bit of my link here. This is my slide, like the executive summary, and we do the product prototype too. But this is not the main things. The main thing in here that I believe that teamwork make the dream work. And also thank you for the IEO that providing the feature when you can register as an individual or in some kind of like a group, so we can make it through the friend, or we can combine them into one team. So at the end, we have a very good communication, and we get a more direct engaging. And also, I think that in here you will learn something else, just like, I don't know, but you can see in here that we have a very critical things like the executive summary, and it's like, oh, what the product and the target markets, and then other things that we can do, so we can put the analysis down. Also, if I do not wrong, that we already give like a 1 week case. So at the end, we have during night like 3 hour or 4 hour, we have to make a Zoom meeting. So we have like, oh, what is this? What is this? What is this? Is the anime on, and so on. So we can make it through through collaboration in here. So we make the prototype. So at the end, that after this, you can move the strategy and also the roadmap timeline and the analysis of detail and the model and anything else. But this is the part that I want to give you all, guys, that because the IO Academy, IO VIC, I found a new friend. I found a uh, new friends to grow in a business case, and until now, I have some competition with them, and hopefully we have doing some great things in there. So at the end, that I believe that IEO is supporting IOVIC is a supporting student in networking. So at the end, that we can see here as a providing training on the networking skill, or so that we can get the overall resource for collaborating with some things in the here and fostering the strong relationship with our friend. It will be very good. And also, I believe that here we can see that I believe that here we have some, even there's a little bit challenge in there. So like challenge in transitioning the academy to the professional world, like it's kind of different with the industry expectation or something like that, or you have a very, I mean like a skill gap, because here in the competition is really different with the world. But I don't think but I think it can be moved by like networking, because here we can network with other people's new or something like that. So at the end, we make the career path uncertain. We can make the career path and defining what our goals and finding new opportunity as like address this challenge by providing insight into some expectation and connecting to the potential things and offering the mentorship. I think like that. And also in here, it will be very okay that you put some mentoring, like, such like uh finalist mentoring in the business case. I think that will be very, very good to increase their, I mean like their skills to presentation, or to something like to analysis like that. It will be very okay, I think. So you can put it in the IOVIC next year. So like people know and presenting, because some kind like they have like a make video, and there's the peers grading, right, in IOVIC. So I think that in the IOVIC you have a peer graduation, and you says like, oh yeah, I'm going to final, and next I have going to presentation. I think that it would be very okay if we put some mentoring teams, like mentoring one on one, like one person mentoring one team. So at the end, in the final, they have do their best, and there's no disappointment, or there's no low expectation, because they have solution, they have a great thing, and they have to be mentored in here. So I think that a little bit of my project, and yeah, some kind of like this, and maybe a little bit that some team is don't know how to make a good slide in here. So yeah, I think should be more known. I mean, more to be teach by them using the webinar or something like that, so they know. And also the calculation, and I think that it should be detailed, like not like a number when you're getting from internet, and the references, because you have no plagiarism in here, right? And at the end, this is my story. I achieved a gold medal and became runner-up and audience award. And I will close the presentation. We are the greatest power in the world if we behave like it. Thank you so very much. If you got a question, let's get connected and through my email, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Thank you. I'm so sorry if there are any some kind of wrong or something like that.
Thank you very much for your presentation, William. I really enjoyed how you made a focus on the community aspect and on the teamwork during the competitions. It's really good to see that beyond the competition itself and the experience you gained there, you also met really nice people whom you enjoyed talking to. And I really liked the story about you growing together through these competitions. Yeah, now I'll give the floor to Pat to give his feedback on this wonderful presentation.
Hey, Philip, congratulations. I loved your enthusiasm. That was clear for all to see, even before you started speaking, before we started here. You've got a very, very warm and engaging smile, which I think will open doors for you if you continue to use it well. What I would suggest that you do, however, is look directly at the camera, because you have a tendency to look up and you lose the impact of the very well crafted words that you use. So that would be one thing. And I would also say to you, slow down. Just, you have so much, you have a huge amount to say. And sometimes when you say a lot and you say it quickly, a lot of the impact that you should have gets lost. So I would say for someone like yourself, I'd be a little bit more deliberate with my words, and I would say a lot less. But your visuals are very simple. Your enthusiasm, absolutely, as I said, shone out. And again, like Milana, I like the fact that you spoke so well of the IEO, your experience there, and then you also spoke about the social side of the business case study, which I agree with totally. That was always, when I was involved more so, that was always my favorite part. And then of course the networking. So you've picked up on an awful lot that the IEO do. So what I would be saying to you, just for future, while your language is perfect, I would just say use less of it. Less language is more, and just be a little bit more targeted in what you say. But it was an excellent presentation, and thank you very much for doing it, Philip. Or William, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your evaluation, Pat. Now I would like to welcome Paula Borges from Brazil. She is a silver medalist at Winter Challenge 2024. She won the third place with her project, the Nigeria Plan, with her team, the Vira-Lata Caramelo. Paula, if you hear us, please, yeah. Okay, great.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen.
Sure, we're waiting.
Can you see it?
It's loading, but yes, now we can see it.
Okay, sorry, it's just that I had to switch up to my tablet because I lost internet. So now I'm going to talk about my experience during and after the Winter Challenge 2024. So I knew more about the competition through my twin sister. I had just graduated from high school at the time, and we're both very interested and passionate about economics. So I decided to give it a try to this amazing opportunity. And if, like it was said before, the Winter Challenge is divided into 3 stages, and one of them is the business case part. And I really to focus on that because I didn't have a lot of expectations, because I knew I was clueless about business, the proposals, and anything related to that. So, but it turned out to be my favorite part. So our prompt was to analyze how Pamoti, which is an initiative focusing on offering clean energy through biogas, could improve access to electricity in Nigeria, because that's a very big social issue. And we ended up developing the Green Nigeria plan after a lot of effort, and surprisingly, we reached top 5 and 3rd place with our team, Vira-Lata Caramelo, which is this dog, basically, this golden dog at the bottom left, which is a symbol of Brazil. And that was amazing. We learned a lot through this experience. And first of all, because of the community, like was said before, the community of the Winter Challenge just makes this experience getting to another level, because both those from the IEO and other fellow peers are very supportive, very funny people, to be honest. And for example, before the economics test, I had a lot of questions about how to tackle certain problems, and a lot of people helped me out, even though we're like competitors. And after the peer review, we got to share a lot about our experience and weakness and strengths working in this project, in this social issue, which was the clean access of clean energy sub-Saharan Africa, and specifically Nigeria. And the network was also very important. Everyone is super nice and eager to connect with those from around the world. And now coming back to the business case, I just want to focus and to talk about how IOX is important, because for example, for me, they taught how economics in business are very important tools in addressing and driving social impact, because they're all about creating creative solutions to issues and approaching things and problems in different perspectives. So that was very nice. And one thing that I learned a lot is how the Winter Challenge empowered me, and I'm studying how they empowered other people to create other solutions themselves. For example, if I was able to create a project to increase youth engagement with the IO, or to tackle the lack of clean energy in Nigeria, I can create other projects and tackle issues in my whole community. And for example, I was so excited after the Winter Challenge that right after participating in another competition with the same values, ended up getting to travel to Japan. And the reason why it's more like a personal achievement, but the reason why I want to point this out is because before the Winter Challenge, I had a very low self-esteem, and just learn more about the world, meet new people. And also, like I said before, the Winter Challenge made me analyze for my whole environment. And one of how a lot of Brazilian youth does not have access to open track, the IO, the economics, so much about it. So we developed a platform that could
I think Paula mentioned that she had some connection issues prior to presenting. I think we could just wait for maybe a minute, and if she's not back, I guess we can go to the next participant, and Paula will have an opportunity to finish her presentation afterwards.
Sorry, can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you now. There was some connection issue, but I guess you can turn on your presentation once again and then continue from that particular point.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Perfect.
What I was saying is that the Winter Challenge does not only make me tackle other issues, but it helped me a lot because we sent our idea to accelerating project, and we had to develop a business plan. Very nostalgic, because now we're much more prepared. Our experience is part of the competition, and we're near launch. And I just want to finalize giving some tips. Be aware of the prompt of the business case part. Also pay attention, be creative, and enjoy the city. Enjoy to connect with other people. For want to also thank the IO community for this initiative. Also enjoyable for me. It was a bit. So yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, I think we need to give Paula a bit more time to reconnect. Could you please say the last words because we didn't really hear them?
Sorry, I just want to give some tips for other people that want to compete in the competition, to just be creative with your solution, and to enjoy this, to connect with other peers, and to really enjoy this experience, because it's very important, and it really was life-changing for me. And I also want to thank everyone who was involved in this, because for me it was very important, and I'm sure that it's going to impact, and it has impacted a lot of people from around the world like it did for me. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I really loved your tips and the enthusiasm with which you spoke about competing with other people, but then eventually helping each other out and advising each other on the presentation, and about your experience with creative solutions and how the business challenge shaped your I know, commitment to driving positive change. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I would go along exactly with what you said there, Milana. Paula got the community side of it and embraced it and made the most out of it. And she was obviously a very valuable member of the community by acting in such a way. I liked that Paula had some very, very good vocal variety, which I'm always really anxious to see and hear. I thought, some of the words, some of the expressions she came out with, like, we learn a lot from this experience. But I would say slow down just a little bit. There was times when you were up and down, just kind of be a little bit more deliberate with that. I loved the word, the winter challenge empowered me. And then you were able to bring that back to your personal life and where you're from. I thought that was really good. To tackle other problems in our own community. Paula, I think you're a massive ball of energy, really, positive energy. And I think you're only going to benefit whoever you're involved with. So well done, Paula. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Indeed, I totally agree. Now I would like to invite Vasilis Melasidis from Greece. He has participated in Winter Challenge 2 times, in 2021 and 2022, and he's also silver medalist of the IEO. He also participated 3 times at the IEO, and this Winter Challenge he was part of the Problem Committee. We would love to hear about your experience, Vasilis. Yeah.
Thank you, Milana, and hello, everyone. This is Milana. Already said I'm Vasilis. I'm from Greece. Right now, I'm studying medicine, which probably is something that could easily show the fact that I believe that economics is not just the science to study and continue as someone who is working on that, probably, but something that is useful for everyone. So my journey with the IEO started in 2021. I participated firstly in the Winter Challenge, and at the time I didn't know a lot about the IEO or economics in general. So it was the first experience for me and the first touch with economics. It was a very solid experience to begin with, and that motivated me towards participating to the next competitions in the next 3 years, actually. So then I didn't go that well then, but I was very excited about all the environment and the energy of the alumni community. And then I participated in some Toastmasters sessions and some events that were organized by the IOX community. And this whole thing motivated me to participate in the preceding IO. I qualified through the national competition and I participated there. And it was very helpful to have such an experience, especially in the business case. After I participated in the first time in the IO, I thought that I would continue participating in the Winter Challenge as well throughout the winter time, apart from the IO, because I thought of it as a very good exercise before going to the IO main competition. That was mainly because of the business case that I would have the opportunity to participate in, because I would solve some multiple choice questions on my own as well, maybe. But the business case solution was something that wouldn't happen without someone giving me a task and then providing me with feedback on that. And actually, the grading procedure was very helpful as well, because when you get to grade somebody else, you get familiar with what can go wrong in that. And so I was very confident from that time and on to throughout my business case preparations as well. So overall, I guess that through my journey, the Winter Challenge helped me a lot in preparing and having some fun as well, because the whole procedure of the competition is very good, and I really liked it, obviously. And apart from that, I met new friends, and I collaborate with people that I met through the years of participating in the IEO as well. And it was a big opportunity. Yes, of course, I would recommend to everyone participating in the Winter Challenge, as obviously it gives the opportunity to practice for the IEO and gain some experience in general in terms of economics and business case and cooperating with other members of the team. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing with your experience. And it's especially interesting since you're not pursuing economics right now, but still the whole experience with taking part in Economics Olympiad and discovering this field of science through these competitions is awesome. And again, the community aspect, I think it's one of the best things you can also get from taking part in those competitions, aside from, testing your knowledge and testing your limits. So what do you think, Pat?
Thanks, Milana. Vasilis, I really enjoyed that. I think you are the type of person that for the IEO to grow exponentially, as is the stated aim, you are the type of person that it needs to be able to get, because in reality, you've ended up studying, is it medicine, you said? Medical science?
Yeah, medicine.
Yeah. But you were able to move between a social science, being economics, into a medical science. So I thought the fact that you were attracted to the competition, that's a real testament to, Christos and Eleni and people like that for promoting it in Greece. The fact then that you found it attractive to get involved in, the Winter Challenge, then getting involved as well in the main event, and then continuing to be involved. It's a real testament to yourself, showing the loyalty that you obviously have, in that you could have left after doing, the summer challenge, and then just left, but you didn't. You stayed with it. And I think that's a testament to both yourself and the likes of Eleni and Christos and the fantastic organization that is there. Your story is very well told. You didn't really need you didn't need visuals, as there were, and your English is perfect. So I look forward to hearing from you again. Well done, and best luck in your medical studies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a lovely discussion. I think now I would like to invite Zishan Lin, who's been taking part in the essay challenge this year. Their project focused on bridging the digital educational gap, where they analyzed one student, one tablet policy in Taiwan to address digital divide. If Zishan Lin, if you can hear us right now.
Yes, just give me a second.
Okay, sure.
Can you see the slides?
Yes, everything's perfect.
Okay, thank you. So, on our audience and fellow participants, my name is Zixiang Ling, and today I'm going to introduce another type of economy allocation, digital education resources. So some of you might already heard about my presentation before. So I'm here just briefly explaining my project and talk about my research journey and results. So first, technology has become an integral part of our existence in 21st century, from smartphones to smart homes. However, what if I told you that not everyone have equal access to the digital world, even students in the same country, that they're living so close? So digital divide is a problem, an issue that is all over the world, and even in the top richest countries like Taiwan, where it is separated into 3 sections: ownership, ability, and literacy. And to which one student, one tablet policy that is spearheaded by the Taiwan Ministry of Education aimed at bridging the urban-rural divide and provide tablets to both students and teachers in remote areas, enhancing digital literacy and teaching methodologies. After calculating statistics and data, I conclude the one student, one tablet policy in Taiwan primarily addresses the first level of a divide but falls short in resolving the second level. This highlights addressing high teacher turnover rates and the shortage of technology teachers in rural areas is crucial for achieving this objective. So why would I start my research? Well, at first, I believe most of the participants think this competition seems cool and might help to boost their application or resume, so they join, and I'm the same. But after diving into what I had done in the history and connecting to back what I can really write about, I figured out the digital education in the area that is the area that I participate the most as a high school student. For a little content that I have joined 5 volunteer NGOs or clubs in the schools to teach students about English, math, or other topics. Despite some of the students were inside my school, which I can teach them directly, 3 out of 5 volunteers group aim to address digital education to teach students that are far away from the urban area, known as faraway schools. So then this is one of the slides that I presented to the as a challenge seminar, that you can see inside this graph, the blue part is really dark and it symbolizes a high remote percentage. That's the digital resources are very low. So despite like as a lot of you might know, and as Alex just presented earlier, that Taiwan have lots of mountains, but despite the low population in the mountains area, there are still students who need to be educated. And moreover, the shortage of teachers that I found in remote areas, compounded by high turnover rates, implies effective implementation of technology-based teaching method. This shortfall is underscored by data indicating higher turnover rates in rural area compared to national average. So as a result, after finish all these projects, I found this significant observation made me wonder about what I can do to prevent the spread of poor education in faraway school, despite joining 3 volunteers to teach the students. So first, this project itself. After this project, I bring up 2 extensive research questions that I believe individuals to think about and the government have to address. So first, how the government uses current resources to resolve the digital gap and respond to the shortage of teachers in rural areas. Second, when discussing the digital gap problem, what issues of uneven development should be addressed at the same time so that a more effective response plan can be formulated. So the second thing that I did is a podcast. My teacher after seeing my project, thought this is a great point to address as the SDGs 11. And as you might think, it's also connected to others, but it's my teacher think it's connected to his topic of sustainable cities and community, and invite me to join one of his episodes and further promotes these rural education to make more people aware of this issue. The link below is a podcast of my teacher that I participated, but of course it is in Chinese Mandarin, so some of you might not be able to know about the content. And last but not least, I joined a government youth group as a faraway school team member, and currently we're discussing about how to promote a website that's become the bridge of your schools and volunteer group. As you might know, as I said before, that I'm really dive into about the volunteer group in digital education, and we hope this web page can successfully let more students or more schools to get a peer education and find their volunteers on these websites. and thus become better at the area that they want to improve. So, well, after listening to all these, I hope you are like me, wishing to improve the community by our own hands and power. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for your presentation. First of all, I've really enjoyed hearing about your project. It's one of its own type. But I would also like to hear about your overall impressions taking part in the competition and maybe some insights on the community part that you gained there. Yeah.
So my impression, you mean my impression of the competitions?
Yes, of the essay challenge, your overall impressions and maybe some insights that you discovered when taking part in it.
Well, as a challenge, I didn't really discover this like competition, but my peers taught me about this, and of course my classmates, my friends, they also participate inside. And throughout this, I found this competition become very extensive. That a lot of my peers, they really have a deep research inside it and foster me to look more into it and connect it back to myself. So I found out as more as I connected to myself, I have more interest into solving the issues and have more willingness to like address the issue and very write about a better essay that can win this seminar.
Oh yeah, so basically the aspects of articulating your ideas and maybe putting them right on paper. This is very cool. Thank you very much for sharing. Pat, anything to say here?
Sorry. Congratulations, Jeek. I love the visuals. I thought were really stood out. I always get very envious when I see people who can do visuals like that, because I can talk a good game, but I can't do it. So I thought you were brilliant. I would just love to be able. I know Canva or whatever thing you were using there is very, very good, and they'll help you along. But that was awesome. And it was so clear and it was so relaxing to look at what you were doing. There wasn't one bit cluttered. It was easily the nicest presentation that we've seen because of how you laid it out. Yeah, I would say to you at times, slow down a little. Obviously, just if you can slow down and then speed up, just for vocal variety, it will help you to emphasize what you're trying to get across. Now, look, you're young, and I don't know how long you're speaking English, but you're doing it extremely well. But, so I would just say to do that, like the next time you're doing a presentation of any kind, that you kind of go, okay, what are my 2 or 3 things here where I'm absolutely going to get vocal variety into? Where is the most important things, and that would bring on your speech a huge amount. But I have to applaud you really on what you are doing. It's so well worthwhile, and it's so community based, that I think you're amazing for a guy of your age. I think you're amazing. So well done on that. Honestly, that I was just blown away by that. Now, can I just say, I think, Milana, is this the last speaker?
No, we have several more speakers.
Oh, have we? Sorry. Okay, they're just in a different line.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, thank you. Well done.
Yeah. Now I would like to introduce Doug Vinh, Nguyen Si Han, and Nguyen Minh from Vietnam. They took part in the essay challenge. And the project name was Does an Educated and Skilled Population Affects Economic Resilience? And Empirical Evidence from New Countries. Yeah. Hi guys, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess.
So I'm going to be presenting today on behalf of my teammates because of some technical issues. So let me share the slides.
Sure.
Can you guys see the slides?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll start now. Okay, so our team is from Vietnam. So I'm Vinh. Did my research project with Si Hưng and Minh Anh. And we did our research on whether an educated and skilled population affected economic resilience. And we delved into the research from EU countries and a lot of EU data from the EU. So our experience with this was we did this during the winter break. So we had a lot of time. And it was really, I think it was what I learned a lot about was working with others and talking with others online for a long time, because I think it was a balance between both a lot of hard work, a lot of hard discussion, but with necessary breaks and learning to have fun and talk, of course, during the process. And another thing that I think that was a great experience for me was actually learning something new from doing the research. So initially, our project, what we did was we did a lot of linear regression analysis of data points between the skill level of education and economic resilience. But after reading up on articles, getting feedback, talking with friends, what initially started as like a very one-dimensional, hey, we have these indicators of education and we have these indicators of economic resilience, let's just run a regression. We learned to, first of all, increase our sample size. So we didn't just do EU countries, because our sample size was limited to just EU countries. We learned to take it from several years in order to increase the sample size. We learned to stratify and sort of narrow down on the points of analysis. So we organized the countries by high income, low income. So we learned a lot on just not only experience with working with other social skills, but we also learned a lot about doing research in general. Okay, so I want to talk a bit more also about what we did and why we did what we did. So for the study, especially during these times when there's a lot of wars going on, as we all know, and European nations can one day experience a very strong economic hit, such as, especially Ukraine, or even countries that aren't related to the war having to accept a lot of refugees. So they have to be resilient. And we thought that, well, education advances economic growth and a lot of these things. So our question was, can education positively impact economic resilience? And, we did a lot of data crunching, and we found that in high-income countries and in low-income countries, education mattered a lot more in low-income countries, and by a very significant amount. Let me show you guys the data. And it's a way better predictor of economic resilience than GDP. And we think it can be explained by education's ability to go further than human capital development, which brings adaptability and skills crucial for navigating economic challenges for citizens. So I think at the end, the results as well brought a lot of lessons for not just for us, but also potentially for policymakers and for the world, because we learned that with all of these trends in promoting more economic development, open trade, things like that, especially during these sensitive times, I think education can be overlooked by a lot of these policymakers, because here in the multiple linear regression, in the single linear regression, it all shows that, first of all, education is very strongly related to economic resilience, but also it's more important in low-income countries, which is a lot of where the wars are happening, and it's more important than just growing the economy simply, which seems very one-dimensional. So I would say that after the essay challenge experience, it was a very great experience in general, just being able to work on something that all three of my team members we all cared about. And we learned on not just economic research skills, but also a lot of social skills and development. And it was really fun, staying up until 1 a.m. To talk with friends and writing this paper. And it was like a shared common cause. So I would say that the experience was very insightful, both in practical social life, but also with research skills.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I really loved your insights, both in terms of academia, when you told about how policy making sometimes overlooks education, and then also the insights related to the community aspect about developing social skills and staying until 1 a.m. It's something that I can relate to, something that I also did during the competitions. But I mean, after you submit the work, it's so relieving, like the best feeling ever, probably. Yeah, but thank you very much. Was really, really insightful. I'll now give a word to Pat to share his opinion.
Well done, Duke. I really enjoyed that. Again, the presentation itself was really nice and clear, and there was, I can see your indicators. There was a huge amount of detail in that. I would imagine that you'll end up working for a government agency at some point to inform policy. I would think you'd be very, very good at that. Again, I think you had a good vocal variety, but again, just in terms of getting stuff across, that's the thing that to work on, really, to find a way to have your voice heard a little bit more, whether, bring a little bit more nervous energy. But I like the fact that you were looking at the camera. You're actually closest to the camera as well. And I thought that showed a real amount of engagement and belief in what you were doing. So well done, Duke. I really look forward to maybe running into you at some stage. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right.
That will proceed with the experiences in our alumni PSA challenge. I would like to introduce you to William Chen, who has worked on the project called Solar Fields and Infrared Bras, Balancing Progress and Preservation in Taiwan, that they worked on with their teammate Methylene. William, can you hear us?
Yes, of course. Can you?
No, you, the other William. Yeah, we have two Williams, William Phillip and William Chen. Oh, okay. I can see someone's screen. Yeah, perfect.
So, good evening, everyone. I'm Miffy, and I'm thrilled to be here alongside my colleague William to share our research and to provide like our insight and our feedback to all people. And today we'll briefly go over through our projects, our research, and then we will move on to our feedback. Yeah. So we did a project on Taiwan solar power implementation, and this graph on the screen is the capacity of Taiwan solar energy, and it has been continuously growing since 2010 with the government subsidy and the government's dedication. So there's three key factors that make Taiwan have this progress, which is sunlight, land resources, and government's dedication. Although despite Taiwan have all these favorable conditions, we have documented several instances where green energy initiatives have clashed with traditional land uses, leading to socioeconomic and environmental controversies.
Is there something else you would like to share? If you're saying something, we cannot hear you, unfortunately.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Maybe they can decide who will talk. No.
So, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Everything is fine now.
So, based on our research, so we have found that the social economic conflicts mainly include fair regulations and property rights issues. And environmental conflicts mainly include ecological impact, and which further leads to destruction of wetlands and forest habitat. It has also created more ecological. And in the past few months, after the challenge, we have found another big problem. During our observation, we have found that politicians were proved guilty and corrupted in the process of panels and energy transition. So had sparked conflicts and
Sorry to interrupt, but we cannot hear you properly. So we cannot hear your voice at some particular points, the presentation. If you could just check in on your mic, maybe like mute and then unmute.
I'll repeat.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work, unfortunately.
So maybe you can connect through another device.
Yes, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, and you will just then continue the presentation. And during this time, we can listen to another.
Yeah. If you don't mind, guys, in the meantime, you can probably try to check in with your mic. So I would like to invite Yeleni Kisiri to talk about her experience of participating and then becoming the organizer of the competition. As mentioned before, she is an IEO 2020 alumna, and she has contributed greatly to Winter Challenge, where she is a communications and event organization specialist. Yeleni, please, can you hear us?
I can hear you perfectly. Hi, Milana. Thanks for giving me the floor. And thank you everyone for attending. It's been really nice. Hi, Yuli. I also see Yuli on the screen. So it's been really nice getting to see all the faces again from the Winter Challenge. People like Vasilis, Paula, William, but then also getting to know a few more people from the Essay Challenge. Which I've never met in an online meeting before, but it's nice also seeing them attending those events. I've also been in the case of the contestants. I don't know if the 2024 ones are watching us right now. I was an IEO 2020 alumni, participating with the Greek team. I had just the chance to see a bit of the community and the people taking part in it. It was my last year in high school. loads of changes and also very exciting things that I was learning, and economics was one of those things. After preparing with my classmates for participating in the Greek competition, I made it to the national team, and I was very excited to travel to Kazakhstan and meet all those new people, but then COVID hit and I had to do everything online. I was expecting it to be a bit of an underwhelming experience, to be honest, but at the end it was quite the opposite, because it was the beginning of a really nice journey, I have to say, that has not ended since 2020, and I'm very glad about that. I think it was a 10-day competition back then too. We did a lot of things online as expected, but I still got the chance to meet a lot of my co-contestants and got to talk to them a bit. But yeah, after that, those 10 days, it was just a very brief introduction, and then suddenly everything ended again. And because I really liked the small taste that I got out of this, I decided to look for something more and see how I can stick around with the community a bit more. So similar to a lot of people being here today, I volunteered for a few online projects that were running back then. Again, with having in the back of my mind that I just want to get involved a bit more and meet a few more of the cool people that I met during the Olympiad in 2020. And after that, things just kept going, I would say. The Winter Challenge was created, and I found myself being in the organizing team for 3 years in a row, I believe. And it's been a very nice journey, meeting new people every year, learning new skills. Also for me, it's been a big learning experience after high school and going into university, but also great networking opportunity. So yeah, it's nice still keeping around and getting to see who is joining every year, who is staying for the year after. And yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's always so nice to see you, and it's so cool that even after the competition, you're kind of still really involved in the whole community aspect. Yeah. So what do you think, Pat?
See, those things happened also in the Olympiad back then, so it's
I think he has taken some time off, right in the middle of an important discussion. Unfortunately, we were supposed to proceed for the second part of the meeting after Pat's evaluation, but I guess we could start it now. So this, as planned initially, the second part was supposed to be devoted to academic networking. And there were several questions that we would like to discuss with you, our participants, and the audience in general. If you have any ideas, you could also shoot a message in the chat. So my first question would be, are there any specific rules or principles to effective networking that people should follow? Maybe something, I don't know, focusing on building relationships, or the ability to expanding your network, and I don't know, being able to engage with conversations and listen to other people. So what do you think?
Maybe I can also start and
yes, that would be very great, because it feels like not everyone is really engaged right now, but yeah, if you could start, that would be good.
So you mentioned the rules about networking in such occasions, right? And I think quite a lot of people before me talked about the networking part of the IEO. I think it's a very important aspect of such competitions, and anything actually where people are involved. And I think networking is something that we normally forget about, because maybe we are a bit too focused on the competition part. but it's also important to take a look at this aspect of things. I wouldn't say that there are very strict rules about it, especially when we are talking about young people finishing high school or like starting university. In the IEO and the Winter Challenge and any kind of project that I've been involved, it's always been a very informal, I would say, setting. But what is very important is respecting the people around you and the people in the community. So always talking with respect. It's also very important when we're talking about cultures, because there are quite a lot of people from different countries here with different communication styles. So I would say just be respectful, be nice, and be open to those conversations. But yeah, I don't know if anyone thinks that we should keep it a bit more informal in some cases.
Well, I can also add like the idea.
Yeah.
It's always nice to ask people how they want to receive maybe some advice, some piece of advice, how they want to work with you. So because when you ask people, of course they say what they want to, like how they want to see it, and thanks to these facts, their work will go better, I would say, because sometimes, well, it happens with me because that I have a lot of ideas how something can happen, but this is like only my ideas, and other people do not know them. Of course, that is why I think that something should happen, and this thing doesn't happen, of course, because other people, they already like they did something to improve like the situation. So that is why I tend to think that it's quite relevant. Just ask because of some like unknown information, unknown facts, some issues may arise. And when you ask, you also show that person that you're ready to the conversation. So you're already not only like in this I'll say like working atmosphere, but you also respect another person's things maybe about some subjects and so on. So thanks to a very simple thing, just ask, you may like you may attract person to yourself, I would say.
Good addition, I would say. So be respectful, ask questions, and be a good listener.
Yeah, and then answer these questions. Not only ask, but also answer when other people ask you.
Yeah, I could definitely agree on those, and probably, also being able to keep up the conversations after the competitions, and let's say, still keep in touch, and maybe like, support each other, because you can network, at some particular events, but then it doesn't, it really matters that you also keep in touch afterwards. If you want to establish a deep bond with someone. Yeah, but thanks. Those were very interesting insights. So moving to the second question, do you think it's important to participate in different academic competitions, or is it enough to choose one and try your luck in it? So I can actually share my experience. I come from best Olympiad school in my country. Well, we're professionally trained on winning different academic competitions. But before entering that school, I used to study in a very ordinary public school where I just wanted to skip one of the subjects at school, and I accidentally went to an Olympiad in biology. Actually, after that, I participated in a math Olympiad, and I found this experience quite interesting, especially that I had to participate for an older grade, not mine, because at that time we were too young to take part in those competitions. But I decided to try myself, and I thought that it was very cool. Sometimes I felt kind of bored at school because the program and the materials seemed to be kind of a little bit easy. But then discovering this aspect that you can also take part in Olympiads, and they're also really interesting people that know much more about the subject and can share that experience with you is so cool. I think through Olympiads and different academic competitions, I came to decide on the fields that I wanted to pursue. So I think Olympiads and academic competitions were also like a really great experience in terms of, choosing your path that you would like to pursue later on. I think that, in my opinion, it's not enough to choose one competition and try your luck in it. I think the more competitions you take part in, the more experiences you get, and the more and the chance of you winning or gaining some more useful insights is actually higher when you participate in lots of different competitions. And again, the networking aspect. I met so many incredible people who were in high school and were already publishing different research papers on in very serious journals where usually PhD candidates and only like undergrad students sometimes could submit their works. And again, a lot of people from different countries that were also taking part in those competitions. I had the chance to brush up on my German skills, and again, practice languages and gain a lot of insights on the cultural aspects of participants coming from different countries. So again, I think that it was overall a really great experience, both in terms of networking and maybe choosing on the subject that I would like to study in depth later on. So Julia, what do you think about it?
Well, honestly, I would say that I participated only maybe in one big Olympiad, and it was only in my country, so I can't say that I have a lot of experience in this thing. But now, thanks to IEO, I understand that it's quite crucial to have lots of friends from different countries, maybe not only friends but colleagues. So thanks to this, now I know a lot of things that I never expected that some things may happen that they are usual for some people in other countries. So now I understand that my mind is getting broader and broader each day, I would say. So I believe that this, like, not only our Olympiad, but also others, like international Olympiads, they help to find new friends, find maybe, I don't know what exactly find, but find something new, I would say. So
yeah, definitely.
It doesn't matter what exactly, but find something new. So for example, I have never thought that I would participate. I would like to just take part in organizing the economics Olympiad, because honestly, I'm not like a fan of economics. I have issues with all these things. But today I listened to a very interesting lecture about the economics of climate change, and understood that these things, they're quite relevant nowadays. So yeah, it was quite interesting. And well, the Olympiads themselves, they're great. My final thoughts, I would say. So yeah, thanks to the this academic networking and so on, you can find you can learn a lot of new things, and it's wonderful, I would say.
Yeah, I totally agree. And about those unexpected little things, then might, contribute to your professional growth and to improve some personal aspects of yourself. Because the Olympiad has been a very interesting experience. In fact, when taking part in one of the competitions, I met a very interesting person from the US, and we decided to collaborate on a research paper with that person. And then it turned out their acquaintance was a professor at a research university who helped us throughout our work that we then wanted to submit to a research journal. And again, that is very cool because you can meet people who are really interested in studying a particular subject in depth. And you know, this meeting was life-changing because at the end, I decided to pursue my education in that country in the US, where I got admitted. And I think the Olympiads really helped me both in terms of to improve my portfolio, then get a full scholarship, but then also meet really new and very interesting people, and do some incredible stuff, like just being in middle school or high school and already writing research papers, going to some very interesting conferences. And it's like, basically, and already knowing what you want to do for your undergraduate studies and maybe even for your graduate studies. So I totally agree on this both academic and social aspects of taking part in the Olympiad. Pat, it's very nice to see you join us, because we were calling for you earlier, but it seemed like you took some time off. So we unfortunately had to start the discussion without you.
Well, yeah. Do you have a question for me?
Yeah. So basically, we had the question: do you think it's important to participate in different academic competitions, or is it enough to choose one and try your luck in it? And we were sharing our perspectives. I basically, in a summary, I said that it's important to try different competitions on different subjects, to explore yourself, to maybe take a new perspective on the field of study, and then again to meet new and different people. And those sometimes those meetings can be life-changing, as I then further explained on my own example.
Yeah, well, look, I'm speaking both as a teacher and as a father. And I suppose, firstly, as a teacher, I think getting involved and, probably pushing both yourself and the students, to achieve certain things and taking on new challenges, it just grows your mind so much. And I suppose the one thing that I realized was, when I was in school, I was never really motivated. I wouldn't have had maybe Milana's drive to achieve or stuff like that. I was more often outside of the door than inside. But I suppose from the last 8 or 10 years, I started to see that there was because I had a student who represented Ireland. And then I started to see that there was a whole different side to myself, actually, and that I was far more academic than I ever wanted to pretend to be. And I see that has been a huge help to me, both personally and professionally, because I've had students entering all sorts of competitions, both within Ireland and outside, winter challenges, Olympiads, stuff like that. So they're fantastic for everybody involved. That's the first thing. You obviously, Milana, you mentioned the social side of it. A lot of the students did, Willem as well. And that's so important as well. You meet more and interesting people and you broaden your horizons. So I can't say enough good things about participation like that. In terms of then being a father, I have a son that got involved in a particular competition recently, and he won him with others, won the Junior Irish Award. And one of the things that there was X amount expected of them, but what I had learned from the business case study in particular, I made them apply it to that competition, even though it wasn't required. And I made them present it and everything when it was basically an essay competition. And I thought it did both me and the world a hell of a lot of good. About 18 months ago, my sister died suddenly. And when I suppose I tried to make sense of it all, and I ended up using that particular competition, the Irish one, the Young Economist, and the competition, the essay was entitled Using Economics to Explain Changing Death Rituals in Ireland. So why there's almost exclusively, say, cremations in Dublin, whereas where I'm from in Tipperary, it's only about 11% cremations, 88% burials. And using economics to explain that, and while helping my son to do that project, it helped me make sense of my sister's death in many ways. So there are so many things that competitions do for you, because ultimately what they do is they make you challenge yourself. And the day you stop challenging yourself, it's not a good day for you.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And thank you so much for sharing your personal experience.
No problem.
And yes, that's the first time I actually hear about anything similar to what you told us. And well, I totally agree that, you know, you challenge yourself in those competitions and see to which limits you can get to. I'm very grateful to everyone who took part in this meeting today, for all the presenters, the project leaders that told us about the Winter Challenge and the SC Challenge, to our alumni who were so benevolent to come here and to share with their experiences, to talk about their projects. And I hope we inspired the audience and other people that were watching us on YouTube today to probably continue pursuing taking part in the academic competitions, and they could see what great projects you can create. Yeah, thank you very much again.
Alana, can I just speak for 1 second?
Sure.
Can I pay tribute to one or two people? Firstly, I just want to say that talk about Julia here. I really enjoyed my dealings with her in the last few days. And when I first met her, she was very nervous and she was very serious. And then as I started to have a bit of fun with her, you could see the smile was starting to come to her face. And I can see that Julia's got a capability, and now she's like somebody who has been with the IEO for years. She was always on hand when I needed her in the last few days as well. And she's got a really disarming smile. So you can see that there's a fantastic character there. And I think the IEO, Julia, are really, really lucky to have you. Secondly, then, I just wanted to speak about Milana. And I'm in awe, Milana, of your communication skills and your organization skills. And I know you've come right through the alumni and you're involved in hosting Toastmasters meetings, etc. like that. I think it's brilliant that you are very forthright in saying that, you know, you've used the alumni activities and you're a real model for people, you know, that you're using it to build your portfolio, you know, and helping you to find solutions at all times for things. Listen, I just want to say that the IEO is in fantastic hands. So well done, ladies.
Thank you very much for your work.
Thank you very much, Pat.
Yeah.
We're so glad you joined us today. It wouldn't be the same if you haven't joined. It's really nice having you here, and you know, this comforting, I don't know, atmosphere.
Anyway, I don't have the English to do justice to Eleni, by the way. She was just amazing. She was just amazing. When Eleni started, I said, oh, here, this is just amazing. Awesome. So anyway, listen, well done to you all, guys. I look forward to talking to you again at some point.
Yeah. So I also just want to thank everyone for coming here. Thank you that you agreed to share your stories. And it was like a really now I forgot how to speak English, I would say, from my nervousness. So just thank you. Yeah, Christos, also thank you that you also communicated a lot during the last day, the previous day. So yeah, thank you. And I hope that you like continue all your, I don't know, academic achievements, that you will be continue to part of like IUX community, and you will also participate in other projects, and you're ready to help us if something needed. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Nice to meet you all, guys. It's very kind. And see you again, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.